Hello everyone, good evening! Welcome back to my channel, Chimy in Finland. In this video, I'm going to share about my experience being a mom of two kids and what kind of language we use in our family. And if you're new here, my name is Chimy and I'm Indonesian living in Finland for about 4 years, while back then I was staying in Vietnam for a while. So if you know it, my daughter in this channel, Nina, she speaks English. And why and how come or how come she could speak English? And in my family, it's like no one is English speaker actually. But of course, we use English to communicate. So here is I would like to share our experience as a parents, like and how she can speak only English. Back then when she was a child, a little bit like a newborn, so she was staying home with me for 1.5 years and she was only using Indonesian. So I'm Indonesian, use only my own language, Bahasa Indonesia to her while we were staying at home. So I was raising her and then I'm staying home mom for 1.5 year before I'm going to school in the Finnish school. So I was like taking care of her at home, so it was about 1.5 years. So I only speak Indonesian to her because I can only speak Indonesian and English. And of course, I want to teach her only speak Indonesian. So she has my identity or my mother tongue in as Indonesian. So this quite only speak mostly Indonesian and some Finnish because her father of course speak Finnish. So it was 2012 until around 2013. And when she started to go to the Finnish daycare in 2013 in autumn. So I started to put her in the daycare and then she's quite, before going to the daycare, she's quite developed in language. She can speak a little bit early in my opinion, but of course I don't compare with other kids. Like in my own opinion, she start talking quite early as well. So she learned like some basic words like some it's just basic easy word like eating in my own language in Bahasa. So mostly she's using Indonesian to communicate with me, and then to communicate with her father she was using only Indonesian as well because my husband also speak Indonesian, but of course my husband talked to her in Finnish in his own language. So like it's quite difficult how to explain. Like I use Indonesian, my husband use Finnish, but my daughter speak Indonesian only until she was 1.5 years old. And then I sent her to the daycare and she's starting to use only Finnish. So in the daycare they use Finnish, and in the first day I make that kind of list what is in Indonesian language, and then it was like the list is I translate to the English, so what it means in English, so the daycare understand what's going on and then what she wants. So it make her easy communicate. So I don't know. I like is do they really daycare really understand like it what this really means? But of course, because it's Finnish daycare, they use Finnish as the language. So after couple of months, she's still using Indonesian sometimes, but she developed quite fast in Finnish. So during that time, she learned Finnish more and she stayed in the daycare more because I was study also. And that's my fault. I'm starting to use Finnish as well. On that time, I was study to so it's back. So it was reconnect, and then I starting to use more Finnish. My daughter starting she use Finnish as well because she's mostly staying in the daycare. So it's like slowly her Indonesian or Bahasa Indonesia is starting to be like fading. So it was the time when Nina not speak anymore Indonesian or only some words. Until now she speak Indonesian, but she's quite understand my Indonesian, but she's not really like get it. I mean, like she's passive. She's passive, so she cannot really speak Indonesian for now. So on that time, after 1.5 years, I put her a couple of months in the Finnish daycare. She's starting using only Finnish and only some word of Indonesian, and this is fading. So after maybe a year, she's starting only using Finnish, and then she was 3.5 years she only using Finnish, and then we moved to Vietnam. So during we live in Vietnam, of course there is no Finnish school, so I put her in the international daycare or kind of preschool like that, and then they use English only. So I don't know, like she's, of course the beginning she still speak Finnish because at home my husband still speak Finnish to her, but it was also like I'm starting using more English because I was also study there in Vietnam and I use English, so it's quite difficult for me as well to starting using like really proper Indonesian talk to her. And because there is like she's not really understand, so I was like, okay, I'm using English, and it was my fault. It was so challenging for me as well because when I was studying in Vietnam, I'm using English, so to switch the language also is quite difficult. So that was like the time where Nina starting to lose also Finnish. So it's quite funny, like from 0 to 1.5, she's learning in Indonesian or Bahasa. And then from 1.5 until 3.5 years old, she's starting using only Finnish. And then from that time, so we were back to Finland. She was 5.5 years. So no, she was 6.5. Let's say she was how old is that? So we back on 2018, so it was about 7. Yes, I was nearly 7 years old before 7, so about 6.5. We back to Finland, and then like she doesn't speak any Finnish, so we decided that she's going to the international school in Finland, and she use only English. So that's why my daughter only speak English. Yeah. What Kuka? Wow. You can come here. Tutane. Yeah, tutane. So it was actually kind of our fault that we don't speak our mother tongue, while also in Vietnam my husband also mostly speak English because maybe it's like really difficult also for him to switch from the work and then going home and then speak like different language. Of course, while we were living in Vietnam, they have that kind of Finnish club as well, where they speak like, or they teach children to still speak English, speak Finnish. So that's kind of a Finnish community where they try to cater every second week, and then we have that kind of Finnish language class for the kids. So it was like a bit like refreshing, but of course it's really good also to refresh all of our Finnish, even though my daughter is mostly speak English. And yeah, during our stay in Vietnam, my daughter lose her Finnish and Indonesian. So that's why, like, of course, it's when we back to Finland. What? Sukka? Oh, where is your sukka? Isn't the sukka? What is sukka? Socks? Socks? Kaos kaki? Hyvä. So this is like how the way I speak to the kids. Also sometimes it's a bit difficult that I use many language in one sentence. Wow, Kulta. Where are you, Sukka? Sukka. So yeah, this is a bit like challenging how I can speak to children. Like sometimes I make one sentence in 3 different languages, and actually Indonesian is not like my really native, as I'm using like my how to say, Japanese. So actually Javanese is my mother tongue, and then I need to learn Indonesian when I go to school in Indonesia. I need to learn English, of course, when I was in high school. No, it was like in junior school. Where is the socks? Oh, I need to find the sock. Misa Suka, Suka, where are you? Misa Saot, kamu di mana? Oh no! So, can you guess what language my son uses? Because at home we use Finnish, we use English, we use Indonesian. What Kunta? Yes? Yes? Oh no, where are you? Where are you, Sok? Oh my god! Are you hiding? Yeah. We are trying to find where is Nilo socks. Misa Seon? Where is it? Di mana ya? Oh no. Maybe we can learn how to speak. Come here. Come. So this is Nilo. Say hi. Say hi to YouTube. Hi. This is my nose. No. Mikataon. I. Silmat. Mata. Mata. Hidung. Nose. Cium. Can you speak English? No. Are you going somewhere? Okay, so I guess this is like quite challenging also, like for you who has a multilingual family. Maybe you can share in the comment what kind of challenge you have in your family about the languages. So maybe I am trying to fix my mistakes before, like I was only talking in English or in Finnish, so I need to start to use my Indonesian or my own language. So I hope that my kids starting to learn again my Indonesian or Bahasa Indonesia. And usually like we have that kind of afternoon or evening circle in our family, and there I usually teach them how to speak Indonesian. Like we learn some basic Indonesian language, like the verb, or like going to eat, or going to shower, or going to sleep, something like that. And then we learn some numbers. Nilo, can you count in 10 in Indonesian? Satu? No? No, I guess he has no more to count. And then we learn also about like the colors. So we learn in Finnish, we learn color in English, we learn color in Bahasa Indonesia. And also like sometimes I use some language which is easy, like Indonesian, some basic one, even though they don't really 100% understand, but at least they got the point, and from there they should like slowly learning about like Indonesian. So actually it's a task of the parents, like how the actually the how to say how the proper to teach the kids. Like if you are from multicultural family, like for me, like for multilingual family, like when I'm Indonesian, I should use my Indonesian and speak to the children. And then my husband is Finnish, he should use Finnish only to talk to our children. And I cannot use Finnish because it's not my mother tongue, and it's first and the accent could be different because I speak in different way than real Finnish. And then the second one is like they maybe get confused about like how which one the right one to say, even though my daughter know that I'm not Finnish. But if I use Finnish to teach or to talk to them in Finnish, so it's like she's likely not really understand which one the right one, how the way I speak or my husband pronunciation. And actually I should not talk in Finnish to them. And also, like, of course my daughter can pick the language which is easier to communicate, because she use only English, and she's starting to learn Finnish in school. So actually she is in the group where Suomen kieli, or the Finnish as the second language, is not the first language, even though she has been speak only Finnish before. But at the moment she's only like speak some words, and it's not really like her native. Like, she's a Finnish native. So I want that she, of course, every parents want that the kids also speak the mother tongue of the parents, but I cannot force the kids like you should only use Indonesian to me. But in my opinion, like, language is the way how we communicate to each other. I don't mind like uh does my kids using Finnish or does my kids using English or Indonesian, but I just want like we understand each other. But of course the point on the proper way, the parents should use their own mother language, me using Indonesian, my husband using Finnish. So we will see how to him. And he's actually my son now at the moment. He's in the Finnish daycare where they speak only Finnish. But of course, Nilo is also catching some words from Indonesian. He is catching the word from Finnish, of course, because he is in the daycare for during the day. And then also he, of course, understands some English, because Nina, or my first daughter, speak mostly English. And sometimes Nina talking in Finnish to him, because it's like, I don't know, it's just coming automatically that Nina talking to Nilo in Finnish. It's like, even though it seems that difficult for her like to find the word to talk to him, but it's funny, like, the way how she picked the language, why it's just automatically coming to him speak Finnish but not coming to her dad speak Finnish. So this is like interesting also, like, but in my family. But of course I want to like, we starting to fix our mistakes about the way how we speak in our family, and it's still challenging for me. But as a parents, maybe you can leave a comment how the challenging and how you raise the kids in multilingual family. Okay, thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos, and if you like my videos about like the way the challenging about like multilingual family or multicultural family, you can put in the comment. Maybe I could make some video about our family, and maybe it can share the information about being multicultural and multilingual and Indonesian living in Finland. Okay, bye guys. Thanks for watching. Bye. 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 Where is Nilo? Say bye.